Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to actually 4 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today and Tuesday. A lot of stuff. Sorry I didn't have a video yesterday because most of the pre-packing on Sunday was like most of the packages. And then I woke up into only two more and two items or three did not make a video. All right, but it's still been going pretty strong. First up is going to be Dust Tactics right here. These are going to be some tiles for the game, like little accessories where characters can get like cover or defensive stats and bonuses. Dust Tactics is going to be like a futuristic, like kind of like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi. I think it's supposed to be mimicking like a World War, maybe World War II, but it's not like fully historical. It's still like a fiction. But yeah, these are tiles. $29.39 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping, so it'll save us the time right now. All right, next up, I rarely get actual Flames of War, the World War II miniature game stuff, because a lot of people like bid on it and auctions. People like to play the game. It's really popular, probably one of the most popular World War II games. This is a starter set, so this isn't anything super fancy. It's just open box, meaning like it's new, but you know, someone opened the box, they pull out the little thing, you get your dice, your tanks, the rules. I've sold like rule books and scenario books, soft cover and hardcover before. But yeah, this starter set, I'm going for $34.99. So that one's fantastic. I was lucky to get that one. All right, next up is going to be, I have this promo card for the Resident Evil deck building game. This is Albert Wesker right here. It's a foil promo card. There's 3 different promo cards for this game. In the corner, it says like the little number right here that it's a promo. I think I'm the only one that has this listed. So I have a couple of them as well, but I don't put quantity on. Whenever one sells, I think about raising the price. I did like the last few, I raised the price by a couple dollars. I still have offers on, so sometimes I'll still accept a lower offer. This one ended up selling for $16. Most of the other ones I sold anywhere between like $8 to $15. So this is probably one of the more expensive ones of this that I've sold before, and I relisted it same price. I think I have it at like 21 or 22, and then offers come. Oh, they spent $16.09 for that. They must have accepted an offer when we did like a 30% off or like a 35% off. All right. Next up is going to be this Warhammer 40K and Fantasy Bits and Pieces. I got a bunch of these bits and pieces in a box. People will buy these because they like the kit bash, or they'll have parts from another sprue from a box that they bought. When you buy these Warhammer boxes, they don't actually, like, there's different pieces that you can use, like different guns and stuff. So you'll have all these extras, and then people can also practice painting on them or like make a figure themselves. So yeah, I've been really lucky with these. This is baggie number 80. I had over like 100 of them listed. $14.69. This is going to repeat buyer as well. A lot of the people who pick up the bits and pieces from me have been coming back and looking at my other lots and then picking out other ones to get. All right, moving along, we have one of these tray military games. Tray because it's literally like this big tray. This is a very uncanny way to have board games these days, because like this could easily get smushed. So this is kind of like the cover here. It has a lid that pops out. Then you'll have like the unpunched token sheet and rules right after that. And then you have like a tray that houses all of the little chit tokens when you punch them out. But yeah, this is going to be a military game. A lot of people like these ones. This is by SPI, I believe. Yeah, right there. And so I'm going for $17.50 to repeat buyer. I like the tray games, but they are kind of like a hassle to deal with, and you got to make sure that like the box and stuff doesn't get crunched. A lot of the times, these parts of the bottom get ripped off, and yeah, I usually don't like using rubber bands, but that's actually kind of useful for this type of product. Next up is going to be a combo order. I like to get the foreign board games, and someone picked up 3 of them. They're all German ones. I can't pronounce them. But yeah, we have this. They look like family games. This one is a vampire game where you have like a Dracula and then a bunch of different bats. So, you know, kid or family friendly. Really good art here. I like how this one pops. Like, people like good board game covers. And then this one is like a Tanta Caramel or something. So that's like ant spider. So it's like another family game where you're a spider catching different bugs and flies and bees and stuff. So we got that one. This one looks pretty cool too. This one's older. It looks like a more vintage one. And then last up for their combo order, they got the carrot one here. So based off of like, you know, collecting different gems and getting points here. You can see on the back. I haven't played any of these games. I do know that this company right here, Queen Games, they're kind of more, like, I always keep an eye out for them. I'll look them up when I find them, because this distributor or this publisher or whatever, they did not ship out their games through many distributors. It was only like you had to go directly to like 1 or 2 of the 10 at the time for like where to buy board games from if you did them wholesale. So I always keep an eye out, because not every shop would sign up for the distributor to get Queen Game stuff. So the Queen Game stuff is hard to find, and then they have a lot of good ones as well. I don't have them memorized. I just always know that they're potentially more rare, so I look them up. So yeah, they paid at 3 different times. Let me see if I can do quick math. It's 39, 40, 41. It's like $42 and like 80-ish cents. Quick napkin math for these 3 board games. So yeah, I always like to pick up the foreign ones. These are all in German. I mean, they're still like bits and you could play in English or another language if you learn the quick rules. These aren't like games with like big rule books. All right, moving along, we have this right here. This one looks pretty cool. It's like grungy. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, this is a board game. I think it's from the 80s or maybe late 70s. Admiral right here. I haven't played this one, but like I just see board games like this and I always look them up, or I'll grab them just if they're cheap enough, like $1 or $2, or I'll just grab them and just gamble. And then I think this had all its pieces. So yeah, this one ended up going for $35. So yeah, pretty cool. It doesn't even have like the back, where it explains some of the board games. So yeah, this is like a cool older one. I like stuff like this, and someone else is appreciating it. And I got a little bit more money for it compared to like other board games. 35 is pretty good for flipping board games. All right, moving along, we have Sirio. Is that his name? Sirio Forel. This is a Song of Fire and Ice. This is going to be the Simon Cool Miniatures or Not board game, where you'll have trays of different, like you'll pick Lannisters, you'll pick Stark, and then you fight over a battlefield with the measuring tape. It's kind of like a Warhammer type of game. And then there's going to be heroes and characters. There's dice for combat, as well as the heroes, and all the characters will have different cards and stuff. I haven't played the game, but I'll occasionally bid on small collections at auctions, and I like to sell them. Not all of them go for like a crazy amount, but yeah, this one ended up going for $8.39. Remember when I got my first collection at auction, I was like, I spent like 50 or 60. And as I was listening, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be worth it, but like this is still from that collection. So they have added up. They've just sold slowly. And even though there's no card for that one, I don't have the card. People can just look it up, or they can have like extra cards laying around. All right. Next up is going to be the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, just one of the versions of the books. Not like a fancy one. This looks like a more modern one. I took a lower offer. I think I had it for 11 and someone sent a 5, and I stewed on it for a little bit. I was like, whatever, I'll just sell it for 5. So yeah, kind of has the cool art here. Everyone likes Lord of the Rings. I have to read it sometime soon. I have a bunch of different copies of like Lord of the Rings and other popular books. But yeah, this ended up going for $5 for this one. All right. I could have held up on that for a little bit more, but I was fine with taking a low offer. Next up is going to be War Machine Mercenaries. Normally I get more for these individual figures. War Machine and Hordes is now owned by Steamforged Games, and they got rid of the Hordes line, but they allowed some of like the characters and powers to be melted or melded into the War Machine, which is the steampunk version, and you can use a lot of the old figures or most of them. And then this is going to be Fiona the Black. This is going to be a Warcaster. Warcaster is like your main character. If it gets knocked out, you lose the game. And I think there's like another way to win the game if you knock off enough points, or maybe there's like a time frame, and whoever has, after like an hour, whoever knocked off the most amount of points. I only played the game once, but I saw a lot of people play this. I had a lot of friends at the time play the game. So the Mercenaries, the special thing about them was they could be like plugged into different other factions. Like they would tell you in the little character book, the Codex book that I would sell. You've seen me sell the books. They'll say like, oh, this can go along with the Signar faction, or this can go along with the Crix faction. So that's why people pick up these figures. This one only went for $6.61. So normally I get more, at least like $10 for these figures, but they all have different, power levels and uses. So not all of them are going to be the same price. Some of them were more rare or sought after. All right. Next up is going to be a game I don't know too much about. It's going to be War Gods of Aegyptius right here. I got a bunch of this at an auction. No one was bidding on them. And I was like, what the heck? It was basically minimum bid at the time for these items was $2 each. So I got like 10 or 20 of these different figures. This is Kemeru Hero with War Staff. It ended up being a good purchase. I don't think this game is still around, but I've been selling them for more than the $2 I spent. $13.12 for this particular character. They still look like cool metal miniatures. Someone could just use them because they want like Egypt themed, RPG characters, or for some other kind of war game. It doesn't have to be for this War God game. All right. Next up is going to be this cute little yellow bunny. A lot of Easter stuff does pretty well, even all year round. This doesn't exactly have to be Easter. I kind of have it squished in this thing so it doesn't get, hair or dust or dirt when it's in storage unit. So yeah, especially with like a color like yellow, I definitely want to keep it there, but he's mushed right in the package, but it's just a little plushy. It's a good quality one. Someone sent an offer and they said something like they just bought it, and they said that in the little buyer's note that they had to have it because it was too cute. And I do agree this one was a good looking one. $9.79. I normally am not like a big fan of selling plushies, but when I listed it, I was like, oh, someone's going to like that one. All right. Next up is going to be 34 War Machine cards. So these are the stat cards for the characters. You can obviously see the stats in the little books, but like obviously you don't want to have a bunch of books lying around when you're playing a war game. So little cards are helpful. And then they also have the little health boxes. Your characters, these are for Protectorate of Menoth, which is going to be like the religious faction. People usually paint like the shields and the stuff white or gold. So yeah, that's going to be this particular faction. This is 34 of the cards. Normally you buy big decks of cards, and there was different years for different updates of the cards because, you know, abilities and powers would be changed, kind of like in a video game, like a DLC or an update where they change the balance of the game. But yeah, people still like these cards because they put them in sleeves and then use like dry erase markers to keep track of their health points of, like, you know, what arms or weapons are broken. So that's why people grab these, as well as they have the stats of the characters, and there's some lore. Is there lore? Yeah, there's some lore in there, and as well as the pictures and art. So various reasons why people would pick these up. $4.89 for this one. All right, moving along. We haven't sold this in a while, but we have a bunch of these, and I relist them when they sell. We end up getting a bunch of Roll-Aid stuff. So we have Roll-Aids is by Mayfair Games, which is now known for doing Settlers of Catan. That's what they end up being popular. But a long time ago, see, looking at Mayfair Games, this is like some cool history. For people who are into board games, they'd probably be surprised, like I was, that they did role-playing game stuff first, because now they do like a trading and non-war game, board games, like their popular thing. So we got Demons. So this is an accessory to Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to have a bunch of booklets and sheets for different demon monsters and like their full-fledged pages. I opened up one of each of these. So yeah, I could realize what was in them. I wanted to keep one as well. We'll get a bunch of these. So Demons Part 1, and then we got Demons Part 2 right here. Got this like creepy art cover. This is still sealed. These are like pristine. So whoever's going to get it is going to appreciate this. And then we got one where there's Apocalypse. So you can add apocalyptic like scenarios and different characters and stories into your game. This is all stuff that helps dungeon masters, you know, host their game for players. That's why they're called Roll-Aids. They're supposed to aid the dungeon master. And then Psionics can be like a bunch of different powers and abilities that you can use, different like mental like abilities you can read and then use it for the characters can use them as well. So yeah, this is just a cool historical item. Dungeons and Dragons mixed with Mayfair Games. But yeah, this ended up going for these two. So Annetta listed this one. Actually, she listed these. Apocalypse separately for $44.10. And then she had a set of the Demons 1, 2, and the Psionics, and then that one ended up selling for $47.25. They paid separately, but we're going to combine the shipping, so they'll be happy with that. All right, and then we relisted each of those listings because I still have some more in the storage unit. Moving along, we have some tokens right here. These are just going to be Warhammer Age of Sigmar tokens. These are going to be for like a specific character or scenario. This is Lumineth, Realm Lords. I just got this somewhere random. It was like throwing a box somewhere, so yeah, got your little measuring tape and whatever, these little tokens for, you know, whatever points or objectives. It could have been for a character, I think, or going to be for a scenario, or both maybe. So yeah, end up going for $6.99 for this. And then I think this is going to be last up for the day. This is going to be, yeah, it's last up. Descent Journeys in the Dark 2nd Edition. This is going to be the Chains That Rust. This is the campaign guide. This is a really cool fantasy game where one person plays I think they're called the Overlord, and they are going to have a bunch of abilities and monsters to stop the players, and then they're going to be up to 4 heroes that have characters that they upgrade. You play a campaign. When people win or lose, the scenario will give rewards or consequences to either both the heroes or the overlord. So you're kind of like going together in this game. You get experience points to upgrade your overlord stuff and your hero stuff. But this is going to be this is a different campaign. So the base game has a campaign. There's about like 10 or 20 different expansions, and then there's like 50 or so different characters and monster expansions, ton of stuff. I collect anything that I have, any extras that I get, I end up listing. This expansion, I think the full box, which is kind of a small one, which does come with a campaign, or it's like half of a campaign, is like $200. So like this just little campaign sheet ended up going for $13.99 for just one piece from that, because the expansion is really expensive. So yeah, I actually played through this one. Like I played through this whole campaign. That's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's having a good week so far.